Nobody cares about your drumming. Okay, let's face it, that is the hardcore truth. Hello friends, and welcome to the next video. It's jazz hours o'clock, super late at night here at the pad. And I just want to make a video about something that really needs to be said. And I hope no one takes offense to this, and I hope nobody takes it in the wrong way, okay? But it's very important that you hear this. I was talking to a friend of mine who was a bass player, right? And he said this to me one day. You know, we were talking about having a website and, you know, doing promotion stuff, and he was like, what do I need to do that stuff for? And I said, well, what do you mean? You know, you have to get out there, you have to get your name out there, you have to try to get gigs. And he said this, which was very interesting. He goes, nobody cares about my playing. Nobody cares about my music. Why should I do all that? Now, at first I was pretty shocked about why he would say that, because he was a really great bass player, like not a run-of-the-mill, but like fantastic. And I realized what he was talking about later, you know, like days later. That stuck in my head for a while, you know. I said, wow, how can he say something like that, right? But it's very, very interesting, okay? Now, what does that mean? It means that there are already too many bass players. There are too many drummers. Nobody cares about your drumming. Okay, let's face it, that is the hardcore truth. Now, there may be degrees of this that you might disagree with, but the bottom line is there's too many drummers. There's too many actors, there's too many photographers, too many videographers, too many filmmakers. Nobody cares, really. Once you consume that which they produced, do you really sit there and say, wow, this guy was an amazing filmmaker because of blah, 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 or was an amazing drummer or whatever? If you have maybe an interest in drumming, then maybe you did. But the average person, they don't care. Nobody cares about your drumming, all right? Now, what do you do about that? Well, first of all, I think that you have to be outstanding as an artist, okay? Whatever it is that's going to make you outstanding, whatever quality that is, that's what you have to aim for. If you just fall into producing mediocrity, that just reinforces the whole type of, you know, thing where nobody really cares. Now, your friends might care and your mom might care, right? But are you making an impact in the world? What do you do about it? Being outstanding is one solution. But how do you get to be outstanding? You know, there's many different ways to be outstanding. Of course, the most obvious way is to be an incredible player, somebody that's going to just leave everybody with their jaw open, jaws on the floor, and, you know, be an incredible musician. And, you know, that's the tried and true way. But the interesting thing is, you know, why should you care about this? Now, this is another thing that my friend, the bass player, said, is why should I do all that stuff? He was really asking me a very profound question. Why should I do all that stuff? Okay, and at the moment I was so shocked by what he says, you know, nobody cares. I was so shocked that I didn't know how to respond. It was only days later that it dawned on me. Because the world needs you now more than ever. Okay? Now more than ever, the world needs great art. Our civilization is based in part on great art. Do you think that if we only had food, that we'd be able to survive as a species? Or if we only had, the basic necessities served up on a silver platter, that we'd be able to survive? I don't think so, because that's not the only thing there is to our nature, okay? Our brains are wired to crave art. Since the beginning of time, we've been doing it. We've been indulging in language. We've been doing things in a profound way that is communicative, that involves communication, okay? That involves representations, cave drawings or whatever. I don't believe that we can survive without art. So what are you going to do? Nobody cares about your drumming. What are you going to do? Now more than ever, we need art, things that are profound. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do things halfway? Are you going to, not learn that new thing that you've been trying to learn? Are you going to be lazy? Are you going to say, oh, well, I can do that, or I don't need to do that, or, so-and-so doesn't do that, so why should I? I mean, that is the most ridiculous thing when you're talking about an art form that you supposedly love, right? I mean, do you really love drumming? If you really love drumming, you should love every aspect of it, from the gear to the exercises to the music you produce to the little things like setting up your drums or cleaning them, or you ever open the drum up when changing heads and the smell of wood and glue come out, and that wonderful smell of fresh wood just hits your senses. And that used to be so cool for me when I was a kid. I'd open up a drum and wow, that smells so cool. I know it's crazy. The hi-hats, the way they moved, sometimes as a kid I would just look at that and go, wow, that's so cool. I guess when you're born a drum nerd, those things kind of get to you. But the bottom line is, how do you transcend this incredible apathy, this incredible detachment that people have, right? Now more than ever, the job of a musician, artist, painter, photographer, actor, whatever, is to create depth and meaning. Because it seems to me that the world is running out of that very fast. The things that people are exposed to are purposely put out there to eliminate depth and meaning. It seems like they don't want you to think, to feel, they just want you to consume. Okay, yeah, whatever. We can fall into that trap, into that whole discourse. But for musicians, I would like to push a little harder than that. Why do you do that? Why do you want to transcend the things that your body can't do? Why do you want to push harder? Why do you want to reach that level? I'll tell you why. Because when you do that, you are connecting with the infinite. Whatever that might be for you, okay? There is something magical about drums. Now, when you feel that, that is what's transmitted to the average person. Not a paradiddle, not a double stroke roll, not single stroke rolls around the kit at 200 BPM, at 500 BPM. Nobody cares. Okay? But when you feel the depth and the meaning of what you do, that is gonna be relatable for people, and that's what we need, okay? And you can't do that without first breaking down your body, okay? Without overcoming the laziness, you need to have the willpower to break yourself and create yourself again through drumming. Everything that seems hard right now is going to be easy one day, but you have to go through that process. You have to train your muscles and dominate your body. When people see that kind of an effort and that you put that out, that's what's going to reach them. And the world needs that now more than ever. If you don't have the guts to do that, nobody will care about your drumming. And we can just continue to say, nobody cares about your drumming. Okay? I can guarantee you one thing. If you care about it enough to be an adult and take responsibility for your passion, for your journey on the instrument, for your love of the instrument and love of music, that's what people are going to see. And that's what they're going to feel. All right? And I guarantee you that you will be in their mind forever. You will be recorded in their brain. Now, does this change the world at all? I believe in small ways it does, in small ways, and in small things piled up together end up being a gigantic thing. Does this stop wars? So far, we can't seem to stop wars with music or with anything. But we can try to create better human beings so that stuff can be avoided, in the future. I think we've come a long way, we've come a long way as a species. And your role as an artist is emphasized by how you can help to perpetuate this change. You may not be a humongous change in your tiny lifespan, but you do the best you can at every moment. And that means doing what needs to be done, not doing what the best you can do. That means doing what needs to be done all the time. All right? If the best you can do is, practice 1 hour or whatever you have to practice, then what happens? You have to do it again. That has to be done. You cannot stop. You have to keep going. You have to put every ounce of your soul into it so that when you play, it comes across and you have a chance of making somebody care. So why am I so, let's say, passionate about this subject? Because in the end, your playing is something that's going to be a great value to you. And on your deathbed, one day, you're going to be able to say, man, I did what I was born to do. I did what I set out to do. Okay? I'm older now, and I can tell you that these are things that I think about, on my last day on this earth. What am I going to be thinking in those final moments? Am I going to think, man, I should have put more time into this exercise, or I wish I could have done this? No way is that happening to me. Right? I'm going to give it every ounce I have. I don't care whether anyone outside of this realm that we are in, jazz, drums, music, not entertainment. I don't care if they even hear about me. I don't care. What I do care about is drumming. And knowing that on that final day, I gave it everything I had, because that day is coming. And I don't want to sound gruesome, but I'm sort of a Buddhist, and These are things that, we think about in order to stay in the present moment and take action. Maybe someday I'll do a video about that, but it's a pretty deep subject and one that requires a lot of thought and very good articulation. So, with that in mind, nobody cares about your drumming. Now, let me add, unless you do. All right? Okay. These are things that are on my mind because I see, the frustration of some of my students, some friends that are players, and sometimes I feel it myself, What am I going to do to promote the next tour? Or what am I going to do if nobody shows up, or if too many people show up and I have to give some money back, or, all the problems that come up. Wow, man. Why even go there before the gig is even booked? That's what I always wonder. So anyway, stay in the moment, love what you do, love drumming. It's such a blessing to have drums in your life. I hope you understand this and can take full advantage, because once you do, the normal rules on this planet of what people think is a good life, they no longer apply. Okay? So maybe I'll do a video about that too, if it's needed. I think it might be needed. So anyway, I hope this was interesting for you. Again, if you want to study for real, if you want to take real action in your drumming, stop by my lesson site and give it a chance. The most innovative curriculum there is on that site. Because why? Because I've taught thousands of drummers all over the world. Okay? Not just in my local neighborhood, all over the world at top universities, drum schools. I know what it means to be a drummer, what you need. There's a lot of guys that are great players and sort of teach. And then the other way around, they teach a lot that can't play music. That's not great. That's not a great combination. Very rare you get that combination. Teaching and playing are on a par. Okay, I consider myself a pretty good player. I do a lot of different things, different styles. I do things that I'm passionate about. So, with that, I urge you, come on over to the site. If you have any questions at all, you can contact me on WhatsApp. I'm going to leave my number down at the bottom here in the description. And I hope you have a great night, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to hear from you. Peace out.